Hello and welcome to the 7th video in this series. Today we're going to be looking at how to use ResearchGate to network, which I think is probably one of the most important benefits of using academic social networks such as ResearchGate. So why should we network online? Many researchers around the world are now using academic social networks. It provides an opportunity to connect with researchers from different parts of the country or different parts of the world without the need to travel. International conferences are expensive, they take time. During these days of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's become very difficult, if not impossible, to attend international conferences. And so this is a way to keep in touch with other researchers. It mirrors what's happening in our non-professional lives. We are communicating, connecting more and more in our social lives online. So this is just an extension of that. In some cases, it can lead to real-life meetings and collaborations. So, for example, you might meet someone online and connect and have a discussion, and then if you meet at a conference, it's easier, I think, to connect, and meet and have a cup of coffee if you've already begun a conversation online. So I think it's an important part of academic life. So as I've been sharing with you throughout this series of videos some findings from our study about the use of ResearchGate by researchers in Japan, and as with other features, Japanese researchers are aware of the networking features of ResearchGate, but you generally use ResearchGate in a passive way rather than an active way. So for example, if we look at something like viewing another researcher's profile, that's something that's quite passive. You just go and look. This is something that researchers in our study did somewhat frequently. But when we look at something like sending a direct message or approaching a researcher for collaboration, these are things that weren't done as frequently by the participants in our study. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about being more active in networking using this platform. There are a number of ways to locate researchers using ResearchGate, and perhaps the most obvious one is to use the search tool. You'll find that on your home page, on your profile page, and it looks something like this, where you can search for the names of researchers who you know, researchers in your field, researchers whose papers you cite that you're interested in. If they have a ResearchGate profile, you'll be able to find them. Of course, not everyone will. You can also look for specific institutions. So for me, I can search Nagasaki University and find people from my department or from other departments, and I can connect with them. You can also look to this tool, which is the Who to Follow tool. You'll find that on your profile page, on the right hand side, there'll be a list of different boxes. The order of these boxes changes, so just keep scrolling until you find this Who to Follow, and you'll find a list of people that ResearchGate has suggested might be a good connection for you. This is all done through algorithms based on your institution and your faculty, your interests. So it's quite important that you set up your profile well, so that you get the information that really is relevant to you. So I can see here this author I cited, so there's a recommendation that I might be interested in their work. You can also click here to get a much bigger list of researchers who you might be connected to in some way. So after reading a researcher's work, and you may have seen their work through ResearchGate, or maybe you have seen it elsewhere and afterwards have come to find them on ResearchGate, you can recommend or follow their work if you like. So that's these two buttons here. If you recommend this work, it means that people who follow you will more likely see that information. If you follow the work, it means that you will get, or you are more likely to see any updates about this particular paper. So if more information is added or some updates, some data sets, you're more likely to see that work. So with recommending and following, the researcher will get a notification that you have done that. So again, it's just a very easy way to kind of put it out there that you're interested in their work in quite a non-threatening way. You can also share the work directly with other colleagues. So by pushing share, there will be a series of quite easy automated steps to share this with other people on ResearchGate. That will be a private message. So if there's someone I know who specifically might be interested in this, and then I'll share that. So the next feature is the private message tool. This is probably the function that is used the least by the participants in our study. So of course there's going to be some cultural differences in how to communicate with different researchers, but certainly for the most part it's less formal than email. So if you go to any researcher who you are following and you click message here, you're going to get some message like this, some message tool where you can input a subject and a message. It might be something very simple like, I read your paper, I really love it. You know, if you're going to be at the conference next month, I'd love to catch up. So of course there are going to be different reactions to this. Sometimes you may not get a response. This might be because they only log into ResearchGate once a year. So don't expect this, and if you are looking for something more official, probably going to find their email address is going to be a better option. But for something light, you know, a casual chance to connect, ResearchGate tool might be a good way to do that. So the final feature I will talk about today is the questions feature. You'll find this on your profile page and you'll see this button here, questions. So when you go here, you can ask some questions or answer questions from other researchers, or you can start or join a discussion. So there's two kind of modes of questions. So you'll see this. So here I can ask a question, a specific question, maybe a problem about some software, you're not sure which analysis to run, you want some advice on different types of literature. So you can ask a question. In my experience, I've definitely asked questions in the past and always got lots of different responses that have been really helpful. Starting a discussion is a little more open-ended. So if you'd like to discuss some issue in your field, the algorithms will send this to the people they think that are going to be able to answer this. So again, You're also going to see questions that ResearchGate thinks you can answer, and again, that's based on the algorithms and what information you're putting and what information you're engaging with. So you can also follow a question. So someone else has asked a question and you're interested also. If you follow that, then you will also get more the answers sent to you as well. And you can, of course, check back to the questions that you asked. So these questions and discussions are posed to all researchers, so not necessarily people who you follow. So it's another way to branch out and connect with people who might not be exactly in your field but have some connection, whether it's by theme or by method or by institution, for example. So you can branch out your network in that way, but also share knowledge, engage in discussions, ask questions and get advice. So this is a really useful tool. Of course, it's in English. I don't think there's a problem in writing questions or discussion topics in any other language, but they are mostly in English. Many people who are second language users of English use the tool, and it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. You're potentially going to get lots of different answers from different people who are more interested in having an academic discussion than correcting grammar. So again, one of the issues that we found throughout this study is a fear of English skills, and that was really a barrier to researchers in Japan using these online tools. But I would suggest that perhaps the anxiety is a little unfounded, and most people are going to be quite accepting and happy to hear from people from all parts of the world. So next is going to be our final video of this series, which is how to use ResearchGate to find research and build your knowledge. So I hope to see you there for our last one.